What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Party on Broad. Today we are doing the ultimate Eagles Mount Rushmore draft. We're going to all pick 4 of our favorite Eagles players of all time. We're going to throw them into shorts, and for voting, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're also talking biggest breakout stars and players on the Birds that could take a step back in 2025. Joining me, Ryan Reese at Philly Sports PSA. What's up, Ryan?
Not much. Ready to talk a little Birds and figure this thing out.
Also joining us, special guest from Trending in the AM and Eagles Pinpoint Network, Phil Stiefel of Trending in the AM. What's going on, man?
You know, I know we're doing breakout star players for 2025, but who's the biggest breakout of the last 4 or 5 years? That's Nick Sirianni, who got a contract extension today. So that's like, I was playing golf all day today.
Yeah.
I get home, 6 o'clock, I turn my phone on for the first time, and I see Nick Sirianni got his extension. I'm like, knew it was coming, but I'm just thinking about all the people that used to trash him, even just like, a couple months ago. And I'm feeling really good right now.
Youngest defense in the NFL. You have
go that way.
Sorry, I forgot.
I
forgot I'm mirrored, so I should be going that way. My bad.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, that was my thought process went into like, where are we going to be talking about these, and how are we going to be talking about these two in Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts in like a decade from now, looking back. Like, it's pretty fascinating to think how far
that Mount Rushmore might have Nick Sirianni on it in 5 or 6 years. It might already. Right. I don't know. That we'll see. But that's how crazy it is.
Yeah.
We've got I'm Awake in the house. What's going on? I'm Awake.
Oh,
Lil G, always good to see you, Lil G. Happy birthday to your aunt. Early birthday. All right, let's roll into this thing. Biggest breakout stars, no repeats. Ryan, who's your breakout star? No, let's go with Phil. You're the guest.
Yeah,
you want me to go first? See, I expect you both to go first.
Only if Phil doesn't steal any of mine. He can go first.
Well, breakout stars, so I'm going to go differently here because I figured you guys would all want to talk about Moro Ojomo or, certain young players, Jahad Campbell, whatever. So when I'm looking at the names on the Eagles depth chart right now, I'm looking for different guys that I expect to break out. I'm going to give you 2 names, actually. I'm going to give you 1 offense and 1 defense because I don't think you guys will say them.
Just one.
Start with 1.
Just one? All right.
Then we'll go around.
Okay. I am going to go with Ojulari on the defensive line, okay? Because somebody is going to step up and be that second leading sack getter, third leading sack getter on this defensive line. Nolan Smith is going to continue to progress. Alex Hunt's going to continue to progress. But I was sitting here thinking either Uche or Ojulari, which one? And I think Ojulari's got the pedigree to be a great player if he can stay healthy. And the fact that he is not going to be asked to do as much as he was with the Giants, he's not going to be on the field as much. He's going to be a rotation. I keep thinking of Vinny Curry when I think of Ojulari in the snap count and the usage and what he's going to get. I really think people are going to be shocked when he finishes this season somewhere in that 7.5, 9 sack range this year, as long as he stays healthy. And I think he can in a lesser role here. So I think that's going to be your guy that we're all going to be shocked, come February when we're hoisting that Lombardi trophy. That was a key part of this defensive line, getting pressure on the quarterback.
I have some thoughts. I'll throw it to you, Ryan, first. Thoughts on that, and then who's your breakout?
Well, Phil said it perfectly with the 2, edge acquisitions this free agency in Uche and Ojulari. I also lean more heavily towards Ojulari. Just the skill set, I feel like, is better. Just the way he attacks, I certainly like it. I like his fit, and I agree. I think especially out of those 2, I think he absolutely is going to be the guy. And you're right. I think he could easily be the number 3 in sacks. Yeah. Behind Carter, behind Nolan, who knows? But I like that. It's a good one.
Is there a more underrated player coach on this Eagles roster than Clint Hurtt? I'm excited to see what he can get out of Ojulari. I think he's a great fit. Uche's run defense gives me a little hesitation, but I think Ojulari and his snap count versus the Alex Hunt and his snap count is going to be a fascinating battle to watch during training camp, and where that goes and how that progresses as the season progresses. Ryan, do you have a breakout star?
Yeah, listen, I feel like I don't want to give you the easy layups.
You're not going to have mine. Trust me. There's no way.
No?
No.
Okay, I won't say the layup then. I'm gonna go. Man, dare I? I think I will. I'm gonna go with a linebacker. Shocking.
No way.
And I know, right? I'm gonna go with my boy. I'm gonna go with Trot Jr.
Why?
Given the opportunity, you have Dean. We don't know what the heck's going on with him. You drafted Campbell. Some say he may not be ready for the season. And then you have some other guys. I like the fact that, he excelled when he was in on special teams. I think, year in, sometimes that first year is overwhelming. And I like him to kind of hit the ground running with an opportunity to potentially be that other linebacker game one opposite of Zach Bond. It could theoretically be wide open. Why not Trotter Jr.? Take that and run with it.
He clearly impressed when he had the opportunity. What are your thoughts, though?
Did he impress when he had the opportunity?
I
mean, he played like 3 snaps the entire season, it feels like. And he was, he kept getting hyped up by Vic Fangio that he was going to take over, for Nakobe Dean, and he was earning that right. And Oren Burks was able to outplay him and not let him get on the field. And no offense, this is not a knock on Oren Burks. Oren Burks did well to fill in for Nakobe Dean. But Trot Jr. couldn't crack. It kind of goes to like, there's other positions last year where, Tyler Steen couldn't beat out, Mekhi Becton. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. couldn't beat out Oren Burks for that spot. So that tells me that I kind of feel like a lot of Eagles fans overhype Jeremiah Trotter Jr. because of who his father is. And I'm not saying he's not going to be a good player someday. I just don't see it that he's going to be it yet. And honestly, if Jahad Campbell's not ready, you're either going to see the Eagles add another linebacker in free agency here around August, or Smile Mondon is going to out-snap in the early games Jeremiah Trotter Jr. I expect Jahad Campbell to be ready, just so you know.
Yeah, I like Smile Mondon a lot. I think he's a better fit for this Eagles defense theoretically, but I think he's more of a developmental guy. And I think Trot Jr. is definitely kind of little more leaning towards got the in right now in terms of the depth chart. Don't count out like
he's got the in, but does he have the skill set to actually get on the field? And I think people overhype him because of the name. I think he was only drafted because he fell so far because of the name, and we took him only for that.
Yeah, and your comments on Oren Burks, that was an understatement, man. He was terrific. That's the one move.
Yeah, I'm not trying to knock him. I wasn't trying to knock him.
I miss Oren Burks. If they brought back Oren Burks, it would have been a home run off season. But anyway, I'm going to go to my breakout star. For me, it's a personal favorite, and I'm excited what Kevin Patullo can get out of the fullback position. Give me Ben Van Sumeren as my breakout star for the Philadelphia Eagles in 2025. Was electric last year during the small 22 snaps he had on offense for the Birds. On 20 carries, though, when he was on the field, they averaged 6.2 yards per carry per Anthony DeBona, the great Anthony DeBona. That's 124 yards. And when they did it, I thought there was several big runs we saw from Saquon, especially in that Giants game, if you go back to that matchup. But when they're running under center, things like that, I think there's untapped potential that can be unlocked with Ben Van Sumeren. I think he's a guy that you could utilize more in the flats as a receiver. And I'm excited to hear Jeffrey Lurie pump up the fullback position, whether that's Ben Van Sumeren or Ty Robinson or even like a Harrison Bryant. That's what I'm excited to see, more fullback, because it was so goddamn good when they did it. They only seemingly did it like in the second halves of last season when they really ground teams down during the second halves. So for me, Ben Van Sumeren.
What do you think is going to be, like you just said, what you say, 22 snaps he had, whatever you just said there. What do you expect the usage rate of the fullback this year? Like how much more? More than 3-5 times a game? Do you think there's a scenario where we're getting 8 to 10 snaps of Ben Van Sumeren in a game on offense?
That was the frustrating part of last year. I know they broke so many records, but there were times last year where the offense was a little uneven. There was some times where it was inconsistent, and that's not just running the football. Think about like Devontae Smith. How many times we were pounding the table? They seemingly went away from Devontae for far too long, getting him involved in the offense. So for me, I just want to see consistency, Phil. I would like to see them utilize it, not just the second half, but the first half, and maybe, that 5 or 6 times a game. That's not much to ask for. Yeah. Pumpman says Keely Ringo. I love how we went away from the common names. That made me happy. Phil, who's your other guy you want to
see? I didn't. Oh, go ahead, Ryan.
I have to comment.
Oh, can't not comment on BVS.
Cannot not comment on BVS.
Murray's saying he's bringing back the fullback,
and that that almost made me throw up. I could not tell you how upsetting that made me. Fullback, like really, we just had a runner run for 2,000 yards. Why do we need a fullback? We have a amazing offensive line. We have a tight end when he's healthy and out there, and Dallas Goedert, who is so helpful for our run game. Why do we need to add another player into this to add to our run game?
I'll tell you why.
It is a dying position for a reason. Let's not revive it. Let's put the knife in the back and throw it in the ground. No more fullback. I'm done with it. Move Ben Van Sumeren back to linebacker where we need a little help.
Just so you know, Ryan, Ben Van Sumeren will outsnap Jeremiah Trotter Jr. week 1.
That is not happening. I will throw some money on that.
Let's just write that down. I'm not going to bet it, but let's write that down. Let's revisit this one.
All of these are recorded.
and I'm not surprised at all that you would say something like that, given all the shade and hate you threw at Kenny Gainwell all last season. When you look top to bottom on this roster, you don't have a goddamn clue who's going to be that third down running back and who is going to be in there picking up blitzes and helping them in pass situations. I'll say this: I do you trust in BVS more than AJ Dillon or Will Shipley or who else? Montrell Johnson in terms of pass protection?
No.
I don't.
AJ Dillon might not make this team.
I think that question's way up in the air.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying, as a fullback, I don't like the idea of it. I think there's a reason why it is a dying position. Let's keep it that way. We just had a 2,000-yard rusher. Why do we need to mess with things? Do with what works. We finally.
It does work. I'm just telling you. Just explain it.
This whole fan base.
6.2 yards a carry with Ben Van Sumeren.
And 3 carries. Like, come on. Who cares? They're probably like, oh, this guy isn't going to run the ball. And that's probably why he ran so far. They're so shocked.
Using the run to set up the pass. That's what they dominated in all last year, man. That's
why you have Saquon Barkley.
We have Eagles girls saying Team Trot Jr.
That's what's up, Eagles girl. I know that's right.
All right. Anybody else have any breakout stars?
I want to give you one, and I think this is kind of weird and crazy to say this. And I almost said this is my first one, but I didn't want to start the show off with a bold thing and everything. Is it crazy to say that Jalen Hurts is going to have a breakout season? Like, Jalen Hurts just won the Super Bowl MVP, but still doesn't get the regular season credit he deserves. We'll talk about other things later and throughout the offseason and all. I expect less usage of Saquon Barkley this upcoming season. They're not going to be able to rush him as many times. Jalen Hurts, locking in right now, will have an MVP season. Will he win it? I don't know, but he's going to be right there neck and neck, voting-wise, as one or two to win the MVP. He'll set the record for the most passing yards in Eagles history for a single season this year. He is going to have a massive passing season this year, Jalen Hurts. And Jalen Hurts could have a breakout season if that happens.
What I love seeing later on that the regular season, like after that Pittsburgh game, you started to see the straitjacket come off a little bit. He was clearly trying to protect the football. The fumble issues were real at the start of the season. Just eliminating turnovers and dominating the run game. That was the focal point of the Eagles offense. And then as the season progressed, especially late, I mean, Jalen Hurts was awesome, absolutely awesome. And I really hope the last few games we saw from Jalen Hurts was like the appetizer of what to expect under Kevin Patullo here in 2025, because he can do it. I don't think it's a skill deficit, whether that's the short to intermediate area of the field, hitting guys and strike. I think he can do it. And that comes with Ben Van Sumeren. How do you unlock the middle area of the field? Running more under center. That's what you do, Ryan. So that's what
that sets up the play action,
yes,
which I think we will see more of. I'm telling you.
Love you, Ryan.
Jalen Hurts is going to win the MVP, so that equals a breakout season. I'm telling you.
Yes, I'm fully with this. I do expect a lot of the similar things you just shared. All right. Let's roll on to the opposite side of the spectrum. And this is a fun exercise because when the topic for this one is guys you think regress in 2025, and it was way more difficult to create a list of guys here. It made me second guess.
Is it regress or disappoint? I'm sorry, I thought it was. Is that okay? Gotcha.
Whatever you perceive that as, I don't know,
right?
Yeah, we don't care. Eagles girl says Jalen will show them. Looking forward to it. I'll throw it to you, Phil. Who is your guy on the Birds that could regress or disappoint?
See, I was going disappoint because if you're going to say regress, I would say Saquon Barkley, just statistically speaking. Not production, not yards per carry, but I would just say he's going to have less usage this year. But disappoint to me is Tyler Steen. I'm still not sure who's going to be the starting right guard. I don't think it's a lock that Tyler Steen gets it. He's going to be the leader in the clubhouse going into training camp for the second year in a row to be the starting right guard. And I don't know who's going to beat him out. I don't know if it's any of the rookies. I don't know if it's going to be Trevor Keegan, another guard in Kenyon Green. I don't know who's going to be. But Tyler Steen will not be starting at right guard week one. I have zero faith in him. And I think he's going to disappoint a lot of Eagles fans. And he might be the first dropout from Stoutland University, if you want to call it that.
Dude, he was so good last year.
I don't think he was as good as you think. He was not that good. He was okay. He wasn't anything special. People think he's going to slide in and be this great Pro Bowl level guard. But he's just not that good. I think he's okay.
All right. I don't think he gave up a sack last year. And I think what you'll see from Tyler Steen is better pass protection, not as good in terms of mauling, being a mauler in the run game. And I feel like where some of the inconsistencies with the Eagles offensive line, Mekhi Becton was a big part of that when it comes to like communication breakdowns and the stunts from opposing D lines. That's where Becton kind of got thrown in the blender a little bit. And I feel like Tyler Steen can probably give you a little bit more consistency there. Ryan, any thoughts?
Yeah. I think Steen is probably the most up in the air potential starter that this team has. And just like, Phil kind of said, with Trotter having an opportunity, but they gave it to, not gave it to, but Obviously, Oren Burks beat him out, but Steen has been here, and we're all wondering why he hasn't taken it and run with it. And he's been beaten out by a guy who's never played it before. And something that Stoutland sees doesn't want to give him the nod just yet. Now, I don't know if it's, one of those things where maybe it takes a few years for him to kind of get it and click. Like I said, when he was in there, it seemed to be okay. But there was a reason, right, why he wasn't the starter. So that is the concerning part. And, man, Phil, I got to tell you, I am praying to God that you are wrong on this one.
Oh, so am I. I don't want to be wrong on this. What other options are there?
You're right. I mean, again, unless
are we going to go with Trevor Keegan or Holland Pierce or Cam Williams?
How many were like pounding the table for Mekhi Becton though at this time?
Exactly.
Like,
right, sure, but I mean, unless he can resurrect and fix Kenyon Green, it looks like it's going to be Steen, because again, I don't think there's even somebody that has their hat in the ring necessarily. That close.
Pryor, you're not excited about Matt Pryor?
I mean, Mekhi Becton got hurt last year a few times, and Tyler Steen couldn't steal that starting job from him every time.
You're right. So that is concerning, 100%. This is the one that needs to work out for us, because the strength of this team has always been the offensive line, and if we can continue to lean on that strength, this team can go as far as this offensive line will block for us. And one chink in the armor is all that it takes. So,
and that's another reason why Ben Van Summeren is so important too.
I'm sure, right? He can step in.
Ryan, do you think any of the rookies like Drew Kendall, Cameron Williams, Holland Pierce could like fill in and surprise a little bit at right guard?
I mean, it's possible. I mean, Pierce and Cameron Williams. I can kind of see them get kicked inside. I know they're true. They are tackles, but I can see it. I just don't know if that's something for a rookie. It's heavy for that a heavy ask for a rookie to kick inside and then be counted on to go above and beyond, late draft, undrafted status. It would be amazing, but I would rather err on the side of caution and say there's no way in hell, and be wrong if that ever happens. But that's a big ask for. I
was going through my notes here, and I forget who I either had Ed Kratz on or Martin Frank. I forget which one it was. Right after rookie minicamp, and Drew Kendall was the starting center for rookie minicamp. Holland Pierce was the starting right guard for minicamp. But when I was chatting with him off the air before or after the show, he said there's a lot of rumblings through the Eagles locker room that Drew Kendall could be the next guy up at right guard. Yeah. That's just whether it was Kratz or Frank, I forget who it was, said that Kendall has an outside shot to challenge for that right guard spot.
I don't know if I like that necessarily. I mean,
that's a statement about Tyler Steen, though.
Well, that one.
That's why I'm saying
100% right. 100% right. One, absolutely. Two, we brought in him to be the backup center because our center is a little injury prone, and I'd rather not take Landon Dickerson and move him again. So that's the reason why I want Kendall to work out as our backup and stay on the roster, unlike last year with Dylan McKinnon or McMahon, or Dylan not going to be here anymore. Again, that's I'm glad. Great for him. Good for him. Hopefully, even just that pushes everybody else forward. But we'll see.
Eagles girl says, "How do you guys feel about Jalen Hunt?" And I'm just going to piggyback off of this. My guy that might regress this year, and it's a 1-2 punch. It's either Nolan Smith or Jalen Hunt. Two guys that I think came on like gangbusters. Nolan Smith had 4 sacks in the playoffs. Jalen Hunt was absolutely dominant during the Super Bowl, 5 pressures, 4 hurries, a quarterback hit, 0.5 sacks. I mean, in the playoffs, Jalen Hunt was absolutely sensational, but I feel like we don't talk enough about some of the inconsistencies we saw from the pass rush, and I feel like these guys set such a high bar at the end of last year that I honestly don't know what that middle ground is. Mm-hmm. And I feel like, is the edge rusher position a question mark a little bit heading into 2025? It absolutely is. And I'm a little nervous that, yes, Nolan Smith could be a breakout star. 1,000% yes. He fits Vic Fangio's scheme. He can do it all. But is he the bona fide 3-down edge rusher we know and love and want to see him take how many snaps Josh Sweat had? Is he a situational guy, or is he, a number one edge rusher who's going to get paid very, very soon? We don't know. We saw Josh Sweat kind of in this role thrown into that, and he failed. He was not that guy. He was not a guy that benefited from a 60% of the amount of the snaps. He struggled in 2023 when that happened. So who is Nolan Smith? Who is Jalen Hunt? Those are my 2 guys.
You kind of got to take the Super Bowl blinders off when you're thinking about 2025. 2024 was 2024, and guys like Jalen Hunt and Nolan Smith, because of the playoff run they had, we've got these blinders on that they're going to do the same thing over the next 20 games next year. That's not necessarily always the case, and I love that you bring up Jalen Hunt. This is why I said Ojulari was going to be the 3rd leading sack getter on this team, not Hunt, not Nolan Smith or whatever. That's why I brought up his name, because you kind of got to take a step back and take those Super Bowl championship goggles off and look at next year totally differently.
Yep. Ryan, who is your guy that could take a step back? Did Ryan freeze?
I think Ryan froze up there. Either that or
he's still reeling from the Ben Van Sumeren take.
What was that old kids show with the mannequin back in the 80s where you took the magic hat off and you put it back on, you said a magic word, and he came back to life? That's what I was thinking there. What was that guy's name?
Well, there was a mannequin, the movie, which was terrific.
No, it wasn't mannequin, but it was similar, but it was a kids' TV show. There's a little puppet. There was a girl. There was a security guard.
I don't know.
Now my mind's stuck on. I don't even want to talk Eagles. I want to remember this.
Anyway. All right. So anyway, those are our picks for breakout stars and guys who could step back. Some D-line, some O-line, some fullbacks. Love it. So let's throw it to our wheel spinner. We are doing an Eagles Mount Rushmore draft here, and this will dictate. What's up, Brian?
Hey.
This will dictate who gets what pick. It is a snake draft. I hope I get the last pick. I'm just saying.
So do I.
Good luck,
by the way, it was called Today's Special. Was the name of the show?
Of course, I get the freaking first pick.
That's what you get.
All right. I got pick number 1.
2 or pick 3, so I'm happy either way right now.
I know. I wanted the 3rd pick and the one coming back.
Ooh.
Team Phil, you are the 2nd pick.
Looks like you gotta be envious of me once again.
All right. So, guys, if you're watching us, comment on our selections. We will be throwing these into some shorts and some polls on who has the best Eagles Mount Rushmore. It'll probably be Phil and Ryan in round 1, and then they'll take me on.
Of course.
Oh!
Of course it is.
Oh!
Dumb.
Oh!
All right. With the first overall selection in the 2025 Mount Rushmore draft, I got to just take the layup. Give me Brian Dawkins. He's my. I'm not going the other one. I'm going with my personal guy. Brian Dawkins to me is Eagles football. Brian Dawkins, we all know, 9 Pro Bowls, 4-time, first team All-Pro, 37 picks, Hall of Fame. I remember crying like a baby during his Hall of Fame induction speech. what he represents on and off the field. For me, it's got to be Brian Dawkins, and that's my pick.
See, this is why I want to pick 3, okay, or 1 or 3, because I wanted Dawkins, or I didn't want to feel forced to take the obvious choice here.
I'm shocked that Dawkins went 1. I thought I was
like obviously. I'm not saying I picked him yet, but obviously Reggie White should go right here. But see, I am so anti Reggie White because I'm so anti that era of football that we praise the Buddy Ryan era for losing, for never winning. It's why I don't wear Kelly Green ever. Okay, I'm so torn.
Bah humbug.
Well, I mean, Ryan, did you see a Super Bowl victory, a Super Bowl appearance, a playoff win under Buddy Ryan and Reggie White? No.
You're right. I mean, you're not.
When I think of Reggie White, I think of him as a Packer.
But
so I'm going to take Jason Kelce and give Ryan Reggie White right here.
All right. I mean,
Jason Kelce is the greatest offensive. He's the heart and soul of Philadelphia. He speaks Philadelphia. He is what embodies a Philadelphia person, not just an athlete, the city, the culture, everything. Jason Kelce is the greatest.
I am shocked that both of those selections weren't going to be sitting there for me at picks 3 and 4. Wow. Okay. Well, yeah, I'm gonna go Reggie.
You got to.
I have to now. And listen, I also obviously, Dives knows we've done many of these type of things, drafts, mock drafts, whatever. I know how to play the game. Dives knows how to play the game. And with that pick, Phil obviously knows how to play the game. But I can't do this team a disservice without making Chuck Bednarik the next pick.
Wow.
I'm sorry, but there's no other person. And it's not.
I didn't think you were going to take him. I was planning on taking him myself.
Yeah, no, there's no way I could have let him go.
Wow.
He wasn't picked 1 or 2. Oh, sorry about that.
Someone doesn't like
it. It was
that
like
pick.
some special sound effect for the show.
Yeah,
someone doesn't like that pick, Ryan.
That just means I'm dying. Don't worry about it, guys.
Did you just say take Kelce off the mountain now? Like, why?
I don't understand.
He's the heart and soul of Philadelphia football over the last decade plus.
By the way, Phil, it was either Dawkins or Kelce for me.
Yeah, I figured that would be for you as well. But I that's why I didn't want to have to take Reggie White. Should have taken Reggie White. Didn't want to have to take Reggie White.
Wow.
Well,
yeah. Man, I'll listen. I'll take it. I'll gladly take it.
I have no problem playing the game and just building a fan favorite team here. As well.
Believe me. I'm sure Dives is thinking the same way.
All right, Phil, where are you going?
Again, I'm kind of stuck in a position where I feel like I should take one person, but I kind of feel like I got to take another. But I'll go with the Hall of Fame wide receiver, Howard Carmichael. Obviously, before my time, but Howard Carmichael, arguably, whole career-wise, one of, if not the greatest wide receiver in Eagles history.
For sure.
He won't be when A.J. Brown retires or Devontae Smith retires. But at this point, he is the greatest wide receiver in Eagles history right there. And it's too soon to take A.J. Brown in a Mount Rushmore. So can't go there yet, but I'll go Howard Carmichael just because. Why not?
Love it. Love it. Harold Carmichael off the board. All right. I've got back-to-back picks. All right. I'm going to lock in my first pick.
Oh, boy. There it goes.
And this is just a personal favorite of mine. I'm going to go – I'm a trenches guy. I'm going to go Lane Johnson with my first pick.
Wow.
Lane Johnson, I mean, 4 Pro Bowls, 2-time first-team All-Pro. What can you say? The Eagles are 70, 31-1 with Lane Johnson on the field. Without him, 10-22. Dominant numbers. He's going to be, again, one of the best Eagles players of all time when it all wraps up. With my third-round pick, I need a moment.
I need a moment. What do you forget these guys already? Come on.
No, because I know some of these guys come back to me.
Who's your favorite? Who's your favorite coach? I'm sure you'll want to put him on here, right?
All right, I'm gonna do it. Give me Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, 2-time Super Bowl winner, outplayed Mahomes in both. I mean, not 1-time Super Bowl winner, beat Mahomes, and he what?
Wow.
So many endless memories. The 2-point conversion, the dagger. I mean, it just go on and on. How many plays? And how many times he's been, thrown under the rug, and he's just outperformed so many big plays and players, and made so many big plays. So for me, I'm going to go Jalen Hurts. And I said at the start of the show, where are we going to be at in like 8 to 10 years talking about this guy, Jalen Hurts? The dude is a baller. Don't doubt him. That's my pick.
Wow.
All right, Phil. You're muted, Phil.
Muted, Phil.
There we go.
There we go.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
I'm actually shocked you took him there. I was going to take him in my 4th round, honestly, with all the same things you just said. But you know what? I'm going to go with an underappreciated running back who at this point I think is, I know statistically speaking, isn't the best running back in Eagles history, but I think Brian Westbrook is the most underrated Eagles running back. And if Brian Westbrook was on this current Eagles roster, or even the 2017 roster, he'd be thought of totally differently than he is. Brian Westbrook, best running back in Eagles history, until Saquon Barkley's career is over, then he'll be holding that trophy.
Yep, he's my favorite Eagles running back without a doubt. I had him ranked really high. Ryan, what's your last 2 picks?
Oh, geez. Wow. Okay. Well, at least Phil, that was a good selection. I can at least say for Phil. Anyway, I'm gonna go. Listen, a lot of people love to hate, but we are talking about Mount Rushmores, and we are talking about one of the greatest quarterbacks in Eagles history, 6-time Pro Bowler, franchise records left and right, what was 92, 49 and 1 in the regular season as an Eagle. I'm talking about Donovan McNabb, number 5.
All right.
This is tough. I would have definitely loved Westbrook. Thank you very much. Dare I go? And there's a couple of guys here I really like, but I'm gonna go with another quarterback actually.
What?
And I'm not gonna play to the fans here, because let's be honest, I don't think the player who I won't mention shouldn't be on this list, and I hope both of you guys will agree. But I'm going to go with a quarterback that, as Phil said, did nothing, didn't win us anything, but man, was he electric. Was he just breaking down all types of barriers and records, and was just the most entertaining ultimate weapon in the game. And that is one Randall Ulysses Cunningham.
Interesting. 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Phil, what's your last selection?
So again, let me preface this by saying, for what I said about Reggie doesn't apply to certain other guys from that team. Reggie left, so quickly, and he had more success elsewhere. Randall had more success elsewhere also, getting the MVP later on in his career. But I'm debating between 2 names. from that same era here with my last pick.
Sure.
One is entering the Hall of Fame, rightfully so. Should have a very long time ago gotten the Hall of Fame.
Agreed.
The other person I think actually doesn't get any Hall of Fame credit and should be in the Hall of Fame. So I'm debating between the best Eagles cornerback in the history of Eagles, Eric Allen. I'm debating between Eric Allen and the best linebacker in Eagles history, Seth Joyner. I'm debating here. And if I had a quarter right now in my pocket, I'd probably flip a quarter. I'm going to go Eric Allen because he is, without a doubt, a guy that's been disrespected by the NFL for far too long. Should have been in the Hall of Fame a decade ago, if not longer. So, yeah, way before that even. With how many people get into the Hall of Fame in all sports, and Eric Allen has not been in the Hall of Fame yet, is the biggest travesty in all of sports, probably, in all the Hall of Fame. So, Eric Allen, that's the way to go right there.
That's a great pick. That's a great pick.
Nicely done.
There's a few here that I could go with, but I got the best safety. I think I got the best quarterback, and I think I got the best tackle. So give me the best second best defensive lineman in Brandon Graham. Another guy that was
No, he's not a Mount Rushmore guy. What?
Wow. Oh my gosh, Dimes is voting with his heart, folks. Everybody watch out.
You could have taken Fletcher Cox over him, and I wouldn't have laughed as much.
The strip sack will live in infamy. Everybody loves a strip sack. Brandon Graham is Philadelphia, a guy that a lot of people considered down and out the moment he was an Eagle and just proved everyone wrong. Give me BG all the way, baby.
Wow.
Yeah, that's just playing to the fan vote right there.
Exactly. I feel like
that's all it is.
Yeah,
that's all that is.
I don't think so at all. I think he's definitely up there.
He wasn't even in my mind as anybody. Fletcher Cox, a million years over. Jason Peters, a million years over. Seth Joyner, a million years over. Like, come on, what are we doing here, Dives?
Nick Foles. I would take Nick Foles over him.
That was what I was saying earlier. I was like, I hope to God nobody picks Nick Foles. I love him, especially for what he did. But I don't think he necessarily deserves to be on the Hall of Fame.
Two-time Super Bowl winner. I don't know, man. Eagles says this strip sack was golden, one of the best plays ever in Eagles history.
But yet wasn't voted on as the best play ever by our fans.
I think it made Final Four.
It did make the finals, I think. But it got beat by my selection of Billy Special.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
But anyway, there is our lineup. Real quick on my squad. No surprise. It's all recent guys. That's how I roll.
Play the game.
That's how I always roll with these things. B-Dog, Lane, Jalen Hurts, they're all my guys. I went with my heart. And hopefully the fans will as well. Any thoughts on my squad, guys? And we'll go team to team.
Yeah, you got two Hall of Famers on your team, and that's it. Maybe a third when Jalen Hurts is done. So you got the least Hall of Famers out of anybody's team right now.
My God.
Am I wrong, Ryan, or am I wrong?
You're so right. Oh, good stuff. Yeah, you started off great with Brian Dawkins. The Lane Johnson pick, listen, I got it, but like,
what?
I don't know.
What? Oh my God! Like it was him or Jason Peters. I had to get attacked.
It should have been Jason Peters.
I love Jason Peters, but he's not Lane Johnson.
It should have been Jason Peters.
Lane Johnson.
Who is this Eagles guy bashing me here in the chat here?
Yeah, right. Jalen Hurts pick Jalen Hurts pick is wild.
Bring that fire to trending in the AM tomorrow. All right, that's what you got to do. I need to see this fire tomorrow morning.
Yeah, listen, I get it. If we do this thing 5 years from now, 10 years from now, yeah, maybe Jalen Hurts should be up there and even higher. Brandon Graham again. Who doesn't love BJ? I have a signed jersey. Absolutely love him. Right behind me is the strip sack. But yeah, I couldn't even fathom him being on this list, even if we had 4 teams.
The the other guy I really wanted on this team was Troy Vincent. He was another guy that I was one of my favorites.
Extremely underrated cornerback.
Underrated, sure.
Yeah. All right, Phil. What do you think about your squad?
Well, my squad has multiple Hall of Famers on it. One that's going to be in the Hall of Fame in 4 years in Jason Kelsey, and a great running back. So, hold on, I'm just doing some math here. I have tied with Ryan right now 2 Hall of Famers, but I'm going to end up with the most Hall of Famers on my squad out of all of us. So, you know.
It's not the Hall of Fame Mount Rushmore.
No, I know it's not. But normally, Mount Rushmore is the best players.
Yeah.
And the Hall of Fame is where the best players go.
He's making a lot of sense. It's making a lot of sense.
My favorite pick of yours was Brian Westbrook. I had him really high.
Yeah, I would have easily grabbed him instead of McNabb. I probably would have went Westbrook then McNabb. That was good.
I probably would have taken McNabb if you had taken Westbrook, I'll be honest. So I think Donovan McNabb does get a bad rap, so to speak. So
he does. Listen. We hate the fact that he had all the talent in the world. He didn't have a single person to throw it to except for one damn year. And in that year, we went to the promised land, and he just couldn't do it. It happens. And listen, he was also very critical of himself. He wasn't very built for Philly, unfortunately. He took what we said to heart quite a bit, and that affected him, unfortunately. But still, great quarterback.
I kind of feel like Don McNabb is the exact opposite of Jason Kelsey in that built for Philadelphia, built for the fans, built for the media and stuff like that.
Agreed.
So I think that was a big thing. I think Don McNabb in another city might have had even a better career.
Probably would have. He's just, unfortunately, he's just kind of a corny weirdo, and just that doesn't really vibe well in Philly. So.
All right, Ryan, tell us about your squad.
Well, the ultimate winning team Ryan here. Reggie White, arguably the best defensive player talent-wise we've ever had. The man absolutely changed the game back in the day, and unfortunately, because of some greedy ownership, eventually left. Chuck McNarick, Concrete Charlie, two-way player.
Last 60-minute man.
Yeah, what can you say about this guy? This guy was tough as nails. You look at him and you ran the other way. And he ended multiple careers. He won us some championships back in the day. Just the ultimate competitor there in Chuck McNarick. And then Donovan McNabb, for all the hate he gets, still right now, today, still consider him the best quarterback in Eagles history right now. Statistically speaking, longevity speaking, and was wildly successful, getting us to the playoffs, pretty much every dang year. And then Randall. Randall was, honestly, he was a freak. He was something we had never really seen before in the NFL, and just made highlight play after highlight play. Unfortunately, a string of bad luck, string of injuries, just didn't end up, winning it. But
I think that's the pick that cost you this title. You could have gone Eric Allen. You could have gone Jason Peters. You could have gone Seth Joyner. Randall, let me say something about Randall real quick.
The same thing.
Randall Cunningham is so overhyped the person. Well, back when he was playing. That guy pouted on the sidelines. That guy was a drama creator. Yeah, he was the ultimate weapon when he felt like it, but there were a lot of down points in the Randall Cunningham era here in Philadelphia that people kind of ignore. That they don't ignore the Donovan McNabb drama, but they ignore all the Randall drama. And I don't get it because Donovan at least won something. Randall won nothing here. So, for all the potential and all the athletic ability that Randall had, what did he do in Philadelphia here?
And all the winning Donovan McNabb did in Philadelphia, Jalen Hurts is 4 playoff wins from shattering the all-time Eagles playoff win record. 4 wins. He's only 26 years old. He's gonna be owning all the Eagles records when all is said and done.
Yeah, you might be right. And this isn't the Mount Rushmore of what's going to be in 10 years. It's the Mount Rushmore of right now. Right now.
Randall Cunningham, Jalen Hurts is already better than Randall Cunningham ever was.
Just
Jalen Hurts is a winner. Randall Cunningham wasn't.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who remembers Jalen? Who remembers Randall putting his jacket on backwards and pouting on the sidelines when what's his name benched him for Rodney Pete? Sorry, I don't have.
Phil, you brought your hater hat out today, didn't you?
The what?
You brought your hater hat out today,
Dude,
didn't you?
I'm sick as hell right now, man. I'm taking my sickness, frustration out.
I got a question for you. How do you get back there? Do you have to crawl under the desk to get to where you are right there? Or is it
I got a gap right here.
Gap right there?
Literally, I can't walk through it. I gotta slide through the gap right here. Okay. There's a bigger gap on this side, but I got my TV blocking the gap over here. So in case of a fire, there's a very small gap over here.
Gotcha. Listen, I would love we'd love a tour of the studio one day.
Let's do a joint show in the studio.
The 360 view, you know.
Yeah.
Eagle says Jalen is 26 years old and already has 2 Super Bowls. I mean,
yeah,
dude.
stop hating you, bum.
All right, guys, we're wrapping it up. Phil, what do you got going on at Set the Trends? Trending in the AM. Tell us about it.
Yeah, Set the Trend or STT Sports Network setting the trends on what sports talk should be. Be live as always every morning, 8:00 live tomorrow morning. We'll be talking a lot about Nick Sirianni's extension and Nick Sirianni's extension and Jose Alvarado's suspension on tomorrow morning's show. Haven't gotten the 110% confirmation, but former WIP host John Barchard should be on the show tomorrow morning as well. So that'll be fun. Tomorrow night, 6 p.m., Fairway to Heaven, my fantasy golf show. We'll be recapping the PGA Championship and also breaking down this week's Charles Schwab Challenge. But STT Sports Network, guys, come on over Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. And, of course, over on the Pinpole Podcast Network, doing the check down.
Dude, best morning show there is right there. Make sure you check out Trending the AM.
Often imitate it, never duplicate it.
Oh, I listen to it on my way to work, and then I chat with you as I'm getting ready for the students as they walk in.
So you listen to it. I feel like it doesn't have the same effect in just a listening nature as being in the chat. Is that true? Because otherwise I'll start putting it on Spotify and whatnot as a replay.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. The chat is where it's at for sure.
Yeah.
For pretty much
all these people chatting. Jack already comes in sometimes with Broken Bell, Eagles, all these other guys. Come find me on the STT Sports Network.
Broken Bell. Gravity Falls. That's one of the best shows of all time, man. That was epic.
That's a wild statement.
One of the best animated shows I've ever seen was Gravity Falls. Ryan, any plugs? Final thoughts?
No, just one thing. Yeah, listen. If you're not following, this network, Party on Broad, please do yourself a favor. If you're not following Phil's network, do yourself a favor. And if you're obviously not following the Eagles Pinpole Network, do yourself a favor. Follow that. We got shows tomorrow night. Birds of the Round Table. And Phil, who did you say was coming on tomorrow?
Most likely John Barchard. He had a family emergency. He was supposed to be on Friday last week. Had a bail last second. So tomorrow's supposed to be our makeup date. But
good guy.
We'll
I like that guy. Yeah. Good stuff.
John Barchard's a good guy.
I'll be tuning in.
Talking a little media, the state of the Philly media with John Barchard. So
that should be interesting for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a crapshoot, isn't it?
All right. Plugs. I created positional primers on every single position for the Eagles. They're like 5-minute breakdowns of my thoughts, predictions, player breakdowns, rookies. Go check it out. It's on the channel. That was a fun project. Next, I'm going to jump into some NBA draft stuff. Took a break there, but I've got a lot of thoughts on a lot of the top decisions for the Sixers at number 3 and what they should do. So be on the lookout for that. Broken Bell says invite to you guys to come on Philly podcast for sure, man. Shout
Yeah,
out.
anytime. Hit any of us up. We'll all come on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know, Chris.
Yeah. And make sure again you go subscribe. STT Sports Network.
It's so hard it's so hard to say.
10 in the AM, the best sports show if you're a Philly sports fan or a sports fan in general. So much fun, especially hamming it up with everyone in the chat. Make sure you check it out.
It is. It's not my show. It's the people's show.
At Bearded Knowledge, at Philly Sports PSA, I am Dives. Again, be on the lookout. We'll be making shorts and voting polls for who has the best Eagles Mount Rushmore and things like that. So thank you, everyone, for watching. We'll see you next week. We'll see you tomorrow night. Eagles Pinpoint Network, Birds of the Round Table, 8 p.m. Forgot to plug that as well. Thanks, guys. Stay awesome.